Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Frolfcenter, presented by Frolfer Magazine. Today's the 11th of March, and it's 2021. Austin Lytle with the boys as usual. What's going on, everybody?
What's up? It's Adam. I've got a couple of things we got to talk about real quick. Let's not forget about Frolfer Fridays. It starts next Friday, March 19th. Now, here's the rub. It's $2 to play. You can get in for some tiered action and some CTPs, but for that $2 that you're getting in to play, you're in for a free CTP. That free CTP is now going to be a Frolfer hat of some varying style, a pair of these Gooder sunglasses every week included, and $20. And $20. We're juicing the pot, whole 14 at Perk every week for the next 6 weeks, starting next week. And we're throwing a little party the first night of league. So let me give you a little...
Nice.
That's pretty good. I like
coming
that.
Soon, but I think you guys are gonna be excited. Some of you all have already figured it out, but it's gonna be a lot of fun. Cody, the 1100 rated hype man, what are you doing, bud?
I am giving away a sweet infused eagle this week. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's all you have to do. Go hit subscribe. You could win this bad boy.
Hey, I love it.
Also, May 2nd, hold the calendar. That's going to be my first tournament back as a tournament director. Going to be in downtown Chapel Hill, about 20 minutes from the house. And that's it from now. Oh, yeah, and then I'm also going to be running doubles at Lee Farm for all my North Carolina folks. Every Wednesday,
dude.
Starting soon.
Look
all right,
forward
that's all I got.
Perfect.
I think
hey guys, without further ado, we have a guest tonight. He is the designer of one of the finest pieces of disc golf accoutrement that's ever been made. It's the owner of Pound Disc Golf, Mr. Levi Buckingham.
Yo, what's up, Levi?
How's it going, guys?
Awesome, man. Thank you so much for coming on.
Dude, the beard is outrageous.
Thanks, man.
Oh, man. It's me. Sorry.
Yeah. Welcome to Frolfcenter.
Again, thanks for coming on. You want to tell us a little bit about how you first started playing disc golf? Where were you? Who'd you play with?
Yeah, sure, man. I started playing in 98 or 99. Just something to do in high school. There was a tonal course in the local park, and just started playing after school, and the rest is history, man. I think I started with like an XL or a Cheetah. One of the two was my first disc. So
that's awesome. What about your most recent round? Where are you at these days? What's your local course?
I'm in Portland, Oregon. So the most recent round I played was Milo. They had it in the BSF layout all last month for the month of February. So went out there and played the east side, which has, a lot more holes that you don't normally get to play in the 27-hole layout. So went and played that, man. It was amazing as always. So
I'm a little jealous now.
Yeah, I was gonna say no big deal. No big deal. Just
yeah.
Awesome.
What all do you put in that pound bag when you play? Do you have a favorite company or completely mixed bag?
I'm from Montana, so Montana's used to be primarily Innova, like a lot of places on the West Coast. But I'm a pretty mixed bag now. I throw some Innova, Westside, Discmania. Yeah, a little bit of everything, really.
No discrimination.
Primarily, I think, maybe half my bag is Innova. And honestly, I would probably have even more of a mixed bag. But I've got probably 100 discs from Innova that I got 90s. Back when I was working at the Mystery Ranch, and I traded employees a couple custom golf mahalls for like a massive stack of plastic that I'm still working through like 15 years later. So,
Oh yeah,
Good deal.
Nice.
So, how long did it take you to get into the bag industry for disc golf?
Like when,
how long
how
did it
into
take
disc
me?
golf were you when you said let's do something else?
I started working for the Mystery Ranch in 2001, 2002, like right out of high school. I worked for them for a little while and ended up going to college. And then after I graduated from college, I was actually just back in Montana and just wanted a job for like a couple months to make enough money to move to Portland. And 5 years later, I was still there, and I was a designer at that point. And so sort of just like worked my way through that company, through like the prep department. Started in the prep department, just something easy basically because they didn't think I was going to be there very long, and then eventually moved into post, so sort of finishing bags, and then wanted to build a pack, and so started designing what would become the Golf Mahal just in my spare time, and then moved into design after they saw that monstrosity. They were like, okay, well, we've got extra design projects, so here you go. And they just started kind of kicking me down design projects, and then I eventually just started doing that full time there. And then started Pound in 2015, which is crazy. I mean, this is our 7th year already.
Wow. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Man.
So
you started at Golf Mahal. They weren't just making disc golf bags, right? Or they were making something else. Weren't they like army bags?
Yeah, I mean they started out. I mean, so one of the owners of the company is Dana Gleason, and he is formerly of Dana Design, which was a backpacking backpack company back. He started in like the early to mid 70s. And then he ended up selling Dana Design to K2 in 99 and had a 2-year no compete clause. And so, I mean, he thought he was going to retire, but he was immediately bored and basically took the 2 years of the no compete clause to develop the Mystery Ranch, and then came out with the Mystery Ranch in 2001. And they do a mix. My brother's actually been at the Mystery Ranch since like 2002. So he's been there almost 20 years. And their primary, between I think the military and recreation. So just like backpacking, urban stuff. Those two things I think are their biggest segments, and then hunting packs are their next biggest after that, I think.
Yeah.
So, and
they don't even make disc golf bags anymore, do they?
Firefighting packs.
Do they make any more disc golf bags?
They killed the disc golf bag after I left. So
Wow.
Dang, hate to hear it. I mean, you kind of did steal the market and like make it better.
Like I don't have to compete with myself. So
yeah, dude, it's sick. It's definitely one of the highest quality bags on the market, I could say. Did you have any part of the original Prodigy bags? I know you and maybe you and Phil had a thing back in the day.
I didn't catch it. You're breaking up a little bit. Everyone else is coming through fine, but you're coming through kind of garbled.
Yeah, he was asking if you and Phil Arthur had any work together at one point with Prodigy stuff or anything like that. He had heard a rumor.
Yeah. So I left the Mystery Ranch in 2012, and I spent a year doing freelance design work. I was actually in Canada, Vancouver, BC. My wife's Canadian, and Phil contacted me. I knew him because we sponsored him through the Mystery Ranch, and he called me up, and I ended up doing all the development and the design work for the BP1 for them. And then I built the first like 25 bags myself for their initial team. So
that's awesome,
dude. I remember that. That's awesome.
That's why Dickerson's lasted like 3 years and turn, because all the rest of them after those 25 went quick. Martin probably still has his. So what
Yeah, I still see him. I still see him sometimes, but yeah.
Do you ever
Yeah.
walk up and he's like, "Hey, you want me to sign that for you?" He's like, "Dude, who are you? What are you doing?" Like,
What's that?
anybody ever come up and be like, "Hey, man, let me sign that for you. I did that. That's one of mine." Like, you ever do that? No. You ever sign a bag for anybody? No. Okay, just
No.
curious.
Yeah.
What bag were you using before you started with the Golf Mahals?
Sorry, again, I can't.
He was asking
Is it
what
still messed up?
before you were getting free bags or working with Golf Mahal. What were you using as a bag, like pre Golf Mahal? Like when you had to buy, what was the last bag you bought yourself? I guess.
yeah.
So I never bought a disc golf bag. I took a, I was just like one disc, or a couple disc guy until, I don't know, maybe 2003, 2004, got into it a little bit more. And then I actually just took a Mystery Ranch pack. It's called the Sweet Pea. It's like one of their 3-zip packs. And I just took like a hard insert out of, like a Walmart cooler, and
Nice.
it fit perfectly in that pack, and just shoved it in there, and that carried like, I don't know, like 16 or something like that. And so I used that for maybe a year or so, and then I transitioned to a wildland firefighting pack, actually, that was set up a little bit better for discs. And that's I ended up modifying that pack a couple times, and then just realized like it was decent, but to like get the exact thing that I wanted, I was going to have to start from scratch, and that's when I started developing the Golf Mahal. So
that's also, so I guess that makes me just immediately want to know, like, how much do you think of your design has come from other disc golf bags on the market, and how much of it has come from other good bags on the market that aren't necessarily disc golf bags? Are you pulling all this from everywhere?
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of, I think one of the biggest mistakes, designers and companies make is to like not listen to people, because you're going to hear, 99% of the suggestions are going to be horrible. But like, there's always that one person that comes up with something and has like an amazing idea. Like the idea for the compression straps that go on like the hall pockets of the Octo Hall, which kind of came from the Golf Mahal, was literally just an idea from a buddy of mine in Montana.
Nice.
That one day was like, you should just think about like putting compression straps on. So like, when you're playing and you don't have a ton of discs, you can just cinch the pockets down.
Yeah.
And so that came from that. The majority of the design of the bags definitely came not from disc golf, because back then Revolution was like a year old, but Revolution was the only backpack bag on the market. Everything back then was still the lunchbox style bags from Innova, and everyone was buying, quad shocks, which were a horrible idea. Not like a bad
why make
idea.
it so much more complicated? You know what I mean? Those things were awful. They felt like parachute, like it was your,
Yeah, I mean, the real issue with those is that like the connecting points to the bags themselves was elastic. So literally, as you walked, the bag like jumped up and down on your lower lumbar every step you took. So I mean, the vast majority of the stuff, like of the design, came from Mystery Ranch in terms of the quality standards and like the sort of like all of the materials sort of know-how and specs on that. And then honestly, like design for disc golf bag, you'd think you could get creative, but you can't really get that creative, because the second you start to put, like more than a couple discs together, you create a box. So it's like you're kind of working around, boxes, whether it's a big box for the main compartment or a smaller box for like the putter pocket that holds 4 or 5, or like a smaller box for like the lower side pockets or whatever. It's like the second you start to stack discs together, it gets sort of difficult to design something that's aesthetically not a box. That's like the Ranger is a perfect, the dynamic disc Ranger is a perfect example of like them basically being like, screw it, we're not even going to bother with aesthetics.
Yeah.
Like, it's just going to be a box on top of a box. And here you go,
Some smaller boxes on the side for some water bottles, and you're done.
Yeah, a series of boxes. So, I mean, the Carlton for me was like trying to be like, a departure from that. And, the easiest way to put discs in a bag is to just throw them in there, side by side. And so like the Carlton, using some vertical integration was my idea with that and creating a smaller bag. There's problems with that too, because the second you go up higher with the discs in the bag, it gets more boxy because you can't taper from the top to the middle sections of the bag as much, because if you've got that disc up high, it's sort of creating more of a box. So,
Yeah.
I mean, some people dig the aesthetics of the Carlton and some people hate it, but it's unique, regardless of whether you like it or not.
I like all the
I
stacks. I like the one that Upper Park makes. I don't know if you've seen that one. I like that as well. It's kind of getting away from the box, like you said.
Yeah, sure. I think their designs are great, man. I think that's the Upper Park Shift that has the vertical integration. Yeah, I mean, I honestly think there are other good designs. Well, not a ton. I mean, I think Grip.
Yeah.
I think Grip is a good design for sure, and I think Upper Park has some good designs too. It's kind of a bummer their manufacturing was in the U.S. initially, and they ended up going overseas, which is kind of understandable. It's super hard to to manufacture in the U.S. and it's expensive as hell. So
yeah. So, what's been the most surprising lesson you've had along the way with starting Pound, and like you said, in year 7 now?
Custom, man, has been like the biggest surprise above and beyond anything else. I mean, it's funny because I'm buddies with this guy now, but like the first people that asked me to build custom packs for them, our packs, we came out of the Octothorpe and it was like $289 or $279, something like that. And this group of 3 dudes asked me if I would make, 3 custom packs all in the same color scheme with sort of a logo of theirs. And just to be like, as a soft no, I was like, sure, $450 a piece. And they were like, sold, sign us up. And I was like, okay, this is a little crazy. And so we didn't advertise it, but people kept hitting us up to do it. And then it was like, okay, we might as well start a program if the demand is there. And, we have like independent contractors in Montana that we work with. And so it was like, we weren't in a factory. We have like 2 prongs of our manufacturing. Basically, one is we use independent contractors for all the custom and really, really small limited stuff. Yeah. And then we partner with factories in the US as well to do like our larger scale runs of stuff. And so at the time, I mean, we've always had sort of a production model that we can work custom into things, but I mean, custom is over half of our business now, which is crazy.
Wow.
I never thought people would lean into it so hard and want it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all about being your own person out there, right?
What's that?
It's all about being your own person out on the disc golf course.
For sure, man. I mean, people want what they want, and they, I mean, that's kind of what we gave them. I mean, the first version of the custom program was pretty crappy in terms of like the selection process. It was literally just, I mean, the e-commerce, we run our store on Shopify, and like the, sort of the built-in plugins on Shopify are not super robust, like they kind of built a platform so that other people could develop apps, and then you pay for apps like on a monthly subscription basis, and all of that coding just kind of plugs into the platform. And so the initial custom program was literally just one drop down with like 100+ selections in it. People had to just like People had to literally just like go through and like find section 1 in the drop down and pick like one thing out of section 1, and then like keep scrolling down, and like each time had to add that thing to their cart. And they couldn't see, they couldn't see the pack either. It's like we had a photo gallery of some of the packs we'd done, and like some of the like more like the bigger production runs, so people get like an idea of colors. And we had pictures of like color swatches that I'd like taken with like an iPhone 6 or something like that. I was I was bootstrapping it for sure. And then a guy actually just contacted me, Chris Myers. He contacted me out of the blue and was like, "Hey, I built this PDF so I could figure out like what I wanted for my custom pack." And he was like, if you want me to develop it any further, I'd be happy to. And I looked at it. It was almost what our custom program is now, almost like the Nike shoe builder, where it was like, you pick everything you want, and you can see it, in real time. So, I mean,
that's like, I'm
that's
picking up
really
the zippers because I want to change the zippers. Yeah.
Why the name Pound?
So both me and my brother's initials are LB. And so we talked about, like 20 plus years ago, we had talked about starting a company. And it was going to be more like LB, like Buckingham Brothers, something in that regards. But, the first pound symbol, was like an LB that ended up kind of with a hatch mark through it. It comes from like basically when scribes were doing LB in cursive, after the B, they'd sort of like lazily come back through it. And I took that first, that was our first logo. It looks like a TB, which is why we changed it, because I got tired of people being like, "So what does TB stand for?"
Tuberculosis disc golf.
Launch into some yeah, exactly. Like launch into some ridiculous backstory about like the pound symbol, and it was like, okay, like this is definitely not, not speaking to people. And again, I mean, this is crazy. Again, like a guy that called me out of the blue that was like a huge Mystery Ranch fan and like a Dana fan before that. He ended up hooking me up with this guy who lives in Portland. And basically this guy had been working with he's worked with like Tom's and T-Mobile and Nike, basically like doing branding for all of these huge companies. And he just like took me on pro bono and developed he gave me like a 20-page PowerPoint presentation with like 3 distinct different versions of a logo and branding. And I was just super lucky. And so then that's when we kind of like, we went with this. My first choice was actually a dead rat, which we're launching another company called Rapscallion for like, that's basically going to be everything non-disc golf related. Cause my other like big passions are craft beer and traveling and cycling. So basically, Rapscallion is going to be those 3 things. But anyway, like the thing, like the logo that I thought was the coolest was this like sort of curled up dead rat, which is the logo for Rapscallion now. But I shopped it around basically and showed people that, and showed people like our current logo, and everyone like hands down was like, "Oh, the Ram's so badass." And I was like, okay, fair enough. You know what I mean? It's like, you gotta just go with the thing that like speaks to people sort of on an immediate basis. And I mean, it makes sense too. Like bighorn sheep are a Montana sort of commodity, and like, just it's not like we were trying to think of the imagery beforehand. I guess this guy, Aaron James, was, but I mean, the Ram is sort of like, it's agile, it's sturdy, it's burly, it's like, it's got Montana kind of like, it's got my roots on it. You know what I mean? It's like, it just speaks to people too, regardless of whether there's a backstory. So.
Yeah, when you're digging up a hill on a disc golf course to go through the shul, you kind of feel like you got this pack on your back. It's perfect. How many? You said earlier you use some contractors. How many folks work for Pound full time right now? How many part time do you have? Like, how big are you guys?
We've got 4 full time and 1 half time person in Montana that All they do is build custom.
Just all day.
So
yeah.
yeah. So and I actually just got back from Montana because we just hired a production manager there too. So he is our 6th or 5.5. He's full time, and then we've got a full time guy in Portland that works with me, and he does shipping, customer service, and he finishes all the custom packs, and he also does all of the inspection and finishing on the packs that we get out of Colorado. So we work with a contract facility in Colorado, and I'm not sure how many people they have. They probably have like 80 or 100 people, but we're just one of several companies that they work with.
Gotcha. Is there a bottleneck right now for you guys? Like, what's the next big lurch forward for Pound?
Honestly, the factory is the next lurch forward, and it took us like a year and a half to find a new factory and get them up and running. We'd been working with a factory in Seattle. Again, like all these connections were made basically via the Mystery Ranch, and they've been insanely, like, to this day, like they help me. Like they click on a big clicker press. They process all of like the plastic and foam for us for the custom program. Like, they'll sometimes hook me up with materials that they're getting rid of, or like I need connections to like a new company for like new materials that maybe this company would not talk to me, but will talk to them or talk to me through them, sort of a thing. Like they've been
Fabric Mafia.
insanely helpful. Yeah, it's amazing. Sorry, what was the question again?
Oh yeah, just what's the next bottleneck, or what's the next lurch forward? You said a factory would be your next big move.
Yeah. So the custom program, like just increasing our production capacity with the custom program. I mean, we started the custom program just with one full-time person, and so now we have 4.5 people. Like we have 4 full-time, 1 half-time, and then a production manager that's literally just, sort of bundling and organizing all of the fabric and pieces and parts for all of those contractors. And then we started working with this factory. That's what I was saying. So we were working with a factory in Seattle, and the fit just wasn't good. I mean, they were just too large scale, basically. Because, for us, we're only selling, with like the limited edition larger scale packs. We've been doing like, 50, 60 a month. We've bumped that up. We're going into another production cycle. We've bumped it up to 100 a month. But like we needed a factory that was basically willing to give us, 50 packs a month or 100 packs a month, rather than, the factory in Seattle sort of as a favor to us, because we were sort of, Mystery Ranch works with them, and I'd actually worked with them as well when I was at the Mystery Ranch. Would do us a favor and run like 500. But it's like for us, it didn't make sense because, then it's tying up all this capital for us. 500 bags is like half a year. Back then it was like a year's worth of packs. So it was like, one, it was tough in terms of like tying up all that capital for the initial labor and material costs. But it's like, then we've got 3 colors of packs for a year, which, so yeah, I mean, hopefully we're kind of just now settling into a scenario that won't be the bottleneck that has been like us. I mean, we basically are just sold out all the time, which is, a lot of people are like, oh, that's so awesome. I'm like, it's kind of awesome, right? Like it's kind of awesome that the demand is there, but it also, like, one, as a business owner, it's like, you don't want to be leaving money on the table. And 2, and the more importantly, it's like, it sucks that there are people that like want a pack and can't get one. Like I want people to be able to like get our stuff and to be able to order a pack and not have to wait 10 to 12 weeks. But it's just like, it's just the reality of where we're at right now. So
have you seen the knockoff version of the Pound bag?
Have I seen the what?
The knockoff version?
The not Pound version?
The knockoff. I think there's a counterfeit, maybe.
Yeah, there's a counterfeit Pound bag.
Oh yeah, I mean, I saw one actually. Nico Lacastro was using. He ended up. I think he ended up getting one from Alibaba. And I ended up like you could probably still go and see like you could buy them on Alibaba, but you'd have to order like 300 or something like
Yeah.
that. And I mean, Alibaba basically rips off every design ever. So yeah, I've only ever seen one, and that was like
in person.
Yeah, I saw it in person. It was like maybe 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, kind of when Nico was like really trying to get Fly Life like up off the ground, and it was a pack that had like this big Fly Life thing on the main flap. But yeah, basically I just sent him an email and was like, hey, that's our pack, please don't ever make those or we'll have to like get lawyers involved, and that's not cool.
That's not cool. It's not fun. We don't do it. So 5 years from now and 10 years from now, what will be the biggest differences we see in pound disc golf?
Honestly, I don't think you'll see that much of a difference. I mean, like my philosophy is just, I mean, like I saw crazy growth at the Mystery Ranch. I mean, they were like maybe like a $2 million company when I started there, and now they're like a $50 million company.
Wow.
And part of that transition for them was taking a direct to consumer business model and shifting to wholesale. And the only way that you can make that shift is to go overseas. And that's just not going to happen for us. I mean, it's not like, for me, honestly, first and foremost, it's like the environmental impact of, the carbon footprint of shipping materials back and forth from Asia is actually the biggest footprint that you're going to make as a company, way bigger than even the manufacturing process itself, which is, depending on what factory you're working with in Asia, can be bad and can be okay. You know what I mean? Like, it can be good, but it can also be, what are they doing? I mean, like, the reality is, like, basically everything a backpack is made out of is oil based. You've got like the nylon yarn that the fabrics are woven out of that are then coated with urethane, and the plastic buckles and the nylon web and like the plastic framing and the fiberglass. So like the whole thing is it's just a pile of like oil that was turned into materials. And so like one of the ways we can reduce our carbon footprint is by not going overseas with manufacturing. And then there's like, there's all the like cascading benefits as well in terms of like, supporting US jobs in manufacturing and supporting like a local supply chain. I mean, like, our fabric comes from Colorado and from California, and they have a full solar array that sort of operates their entire factory, and they've got a water treatment facility to deal with all the nasty chemicals that make the fabrics last a lot longer. And our plastic comes from Colorado. All of our web and trim comes out of Colorado. I mean, like, so like almost all of our materials are sourced either West Coast or like Pacific Northwest. And that's just not something we're going to change. And so for me, it's like, if I had a different mindset, maybe 5 to 10 years from now, I'd say, oh, we're going to be in REIs, or we're going to like, take a direct to consumer market, and we're going to like go wholesale. But we'll just never do that because there's just no margin for wholesale for us. I mean, a pack, like we work on the same margin that everyone else works on, which is like a 50% margin. Like a $500 pack literally costs us $250 to make. You know what I mean? And that's before overhead too. I mean, basically we try to put everything at like a 50% margin before sort of operating costs and overhead. So, I mean, you're talking about, I mean, to sew an Octothorpe, we pay someone $110 in labor.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So it's like,
that's
and
crazy.
How long does it take?
it's insane.
What's the time?
There's over 100.
I'm sorry to interrupt. But start to finish
like,
on one bag. Yeah.
On one bag, if you're building them like in a bundle of packs, anywhere between 4 and 5 hours. So, I mean, basically most of the contractors are making between 25 and $30 an hour. It depends, you know what I mean? Some people, it's piece rate so that we kind of control that cost. So it's like, here's the price for an octothorpe. Some people are faster, some people are slower, but they're going to make good money, like they're going to make, probably a minimum of $25 an hour.
Hell yeah.
So,
okay. That's good. I like that.
So 2 years ago, you said you were thinking about something about a stool. Has there been anything new about that?
Sorry, I can't hear you, man. If you can translate for me, I can.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, a couple of years ago, you did a Reddit AMA, and you were talking about, you were kind of trying to tweak the stool, the three-legged camp time stool. You had been working on some sort of stool. You were thinking about maybe doing it. Any new stool plans out there? Have you thought any more about it?
No, I completely abandoned that idea. Dude, we were thinking about making a cart too, and then like something akin to like the Delta cart.
Yeah.
And so I asked to use my buddy's Delta cart I was gonna borrow it for like a month or something, and I used it for 1 round, and I was like, I hate this. And so I ended up buying, which I still use all the time, actually. Like I use it at Milo, I use it at Blue Lake. I use it at any like cart friendly course. I actually rock a Bag Boy Quad XL. It's like a 4-wheel ball golf cart.
Oh, wow.
That I just hang my pack on.
That's awesome. And it's up high. See, and honestly, my issue with the cart is it's up high. I'd like to be able to get my, my discs from an out high position. I don't know.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like the amount of like development that has gone into those things. It's like you see it and like it like transformers down into this like, not like crazy small, but small-ish sort of thing that you could throw in like the trunk of a small compact car. And it's like you just can't compete with that technology. Like the amount of development that you'd have to put in, and then it'd be like, from us, it would be like $1,000 or something ridiculous because of the materials and stuff like that. So it's like, I totally get the appeal of cart life. Like it's amazing. Like I use a cart when I can, but there are tons of courses that carts aren't friendly, and it just depends on the person too. Some people just don't like carts. I mean, for me, like I started using a cart because I tore the labrum in my right shoulder like 2.5 years ago, and I've been dealing with that ever since. And so like for me, like the on and off constant of the pack, of like a fully loaded pack was aggravating my shoulder. And so I was like, I'll just try a cart and then try it out. And it's like, this is amazing. Like I totally, understand the appeal.
Nice. We had a viewer question real quick. First of all, we got a bunch of beard comments I had to show you. I love this beard. We got an Adam shaved his because he knew he couldn't hang, which is kind of true. And the nice beard. But then also, any new bag designs in the works? I'm sure you get this question every time someone talks to you.
Yeah, man. For sure. I mean, the smaller bag, I've had a sketch and like it sort of like lined out in my mind for several years. So the Rufus is going to be our smaller bag. It's going to be like sort of like a 10 to 12 disc, a much simpler version. We probably won't do waterproof zippers. We'll probably, we'll basically like simplify as much as we can, take a pack that's smaller and sort of streamlined. And I'd love to be able to offer a pack for like $250 or even like $200 if we could. It's just tough because it's like the second you start adding features, you're adding panels of fabric and you're just adding labor to the pack. And so that's why it's tough to basically get a pack, US made, very under like $350 or $400.
Yeah.
You sound like a guy who likes to stew on ideas. Like you've thought about these ideas very long, very hard, thought through every possibility. Is it a meticulous thing? Is it a perfectionist thing? Does it ever impair you in your design, or is that just the way you like to work?
Honestly, most stuff doesn't take me that long from start to finish. Like I could, if I actually had the time, I could probably like start development on the Rufus and be like have the design buttoned up within like 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah.
It's just like I'm spread so incredibly thin right now,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
I've just been, like my primary focus has basically just been to sort of hire people so that we can so that we can keep building packs, and so that I'm trying to get back to a point where I can do design work, because that's really what I want to do. That's my passion, and that's what I really love to do. And it's just, I went from I basically spend like 95% of my time on a computer now, and I kind of hate that.
Yeah.
I mean, like the design software that I use is on a computer too, but it's like the design process is like maybe 1/3 computer, 1/3 building, and 1/3 sort of like testing and revising and stuff like that. So it's like you get a really good mix of things when you're designing. That's what I love to do, because I get to sit at a machine, I get to sit and like at a computer and like figure new designs out, and then I get to like test the stuff too. So
Do you still feel kind of like you're strapped to the rocket of Pound, like it's still just taken off and you can't really do anything else yet?
Oh yeah, man. I mean, worse than ever, more and more. I gotta grab a charger. My phone is.
Oh yeah, sure, no problem, man, no problem. Let's, no worries. Sorry, man. We were trying to keep it going.
Hey, do you want to pull up my doubles thing that I
What's that?
forgot to mention?
Yeah, I'm gonna pull you out. I'll let you get a charger, Levi. We'll bring you right back in. Okay. Cool. Yeah, you got a doubles thing while Levi's grabbing that charger,
Yeah.
Cody. Let me.
So,
What's
all
up?
my Atlanta peeps, you can look at it right now. It's look it up. NC Doubles Championship. There's not a lot of steep competition. They have a co-ed division. It's about 40 minutes from my house. If you come, I'll cook dinner. I'll show you a good time. It is 2 days, Saturday and Sunday, but I think if any pros want to come up, they could take some North Carolina money and get a good meal.
Yeah, you've been cooking. You got burrito tacos. Burrito tacos the other night.
Yeah, there we
I
go.
think Levi's taking a little quick break here. I think Austin's done for the night because he's been having some issues with technical difficulties. Anyway, I'm going to bring Levi back in now. He's got a charger. Hey, buddy, how are you?
Good. I'm back.
Cool, man. Can you tell us a little? You mentioned rapscallion earlier. We got a little brief description. It's going to be beer and wine and biking sort of bags. Can you want to tell me the folks a little more about that?
Yeah, so the initial product line that is already like done, and we've actually got a couple hundred already built and ready to go, are insulated bottle carriers. So there's like a 2-bottle, a 4-bottle, and a 6-bottle carrier. And the 4-bottle, so they have snap-in foam dividers on the inside. And so like the 4-bottle carrier, you can rip out the foam dividers, and then it's a growler carrying case. And then the 6-bottle carrier, yeah, and then the 6-bottle carrier, you can rip out all the dividers except one of the larger ones and sort of center it, and then it can carry 2 growlers as well.
Do you have price points already kind of figured out for some of these items?
Roughly.
Okay.
The 2-bottle is going to be probably $100. The 4-bottle is like I think 130, and the 6-bottle is 160. I think.
All right.
And a free one for Frolfcenter. Damn it! I always mess that up. So with the new company starting, or have you ever thought about this? Is there a number in your head that you would sell Pound disc golf for?
I mean, if you'd asked me that like a couple years ago, definitely not. Probably still no. I mean, it's like for me, it's kind of my baby. Rapscallion, maybe, maybe if I got to a certain point and built it up. Honestly, the only reason it's ever even like entered my mind in the last year or so is just because I've been working way too much. And that's sort of just, like the way to alleviate that is just to hire people. And it's just tough for me personally, just to hire people I can trust and and also to shift from a model of basically me being, like working out of my house and not having to manage anyone, to a system where like we're growing significantly enough that I can't do it all myself anymore. And so like that's been the biggest transition for us in the last year or so is me actually like laying the groundwork to transition into more of like a managerial role, which kind of like needed to happen because like I literally can't finish all of the packs myself, which I actually love. I love finishing the packs, man. Like I love getting my hands dirty. I love like working with the stuff. I love like talking to customers that are super excited. But it's just not sustainable anymore. So hired my good buddy Bill. He's our customer service, shipping, and finishing guy. He's OG disc golfer. I mean, he's been playing since the mid 90s. And he's an awesome guy. And he's an absolute beast when it comes to finishing. I mean, he crushes packs day and night. I mean, it's insane. And then, hired another person as a production manager in Bozeman, and probably going to hire like an operations guy here to take over a lot of like the sort of administrative stuff that I've been doing and kind of hating. So
the stuff that makes you want to sell out. I hear you. So let's say you get the big check, or like Paul McBeth just got all that money, bought a McLaren. Like, what would your dream car be if you were just flush with cash and it didn't matter?
Huh. Oh, you're talking to the wrong guy, man. I drive a 2004 Honda Odyssey with 250,000 miles on it. So I
you
mean,
get
like,
one with a little less,
honestly,
little
for
less
me,
miles?
Yeah, another minivan with less miles. Honestly, probably. But if I could buy anything, I don't know, something electric. You know what I mean?
Nice.
Just for environmental reasons.
Yeah.
That new Tesla that goes 0 to whatever and blows your brains out.
I'm trying to play Tesla stock enough to buy a Cybertruck. Like, that's my whole plan with Tesla stock, is to do it to get a Cybertruck. That's all I want to do. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. All right, so we're into the fun questions now, our goofball questions. This is actually a viewer question. For some reason, has stuck around every week. What is your favorite condiment?
What's my favorite what?
Condiment? Ketchup, mustard, mayo, garlic.
You're gonna have to translate. He's kind of garbled.
Hey, man, I don't know what's going on. We have a viewer that always asks, "What's your favorite condiment? Are you like a mustard guy, ketchup guy, mayo guy?"
Ooh. Probably fry sauce combo of ketchup, equal parts ketchup and mayo.
Mayo chup or Russian dressing, like cheap Russian dressing. I got
that's a West Coast thing for sure.
You got a favorite craft beer out there?
Oh man,
I know that's hard. That's hard. Maybe like the best IPA you've had this month.
Well, we actually got some Heady Topper and some Focal Banger from the Alchemist drop in Portland. They're gonna start dropping those here. That's probably not my favorite. I mean, probably Monkish. Anything from Monkish if you're gonna go like hazy IPA.
Nice. So what's your home course right now?
Blue Lake, Milo, McCormick.
Just anything you want.
Right. That's so jealous.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in North Portland, so I'm basically equidistant from. It's 20 minutes to Pier, 20 minutes to Blue Lake, 45 minutes to Milo, 45 minutes to McCormick, which is an amazing, super underrated course, 45 minutes to Buxton, which is a private course. Like, it's crazy. I mean, Portland's nuts, man. I mean, that's the two reasons I moved here are for craft beer and for disc golf. I mean, it's like the epicenter of I mean, it's not the epicenter, but it is an epicenter for both of those things.
It is quite an epicenter. Is there a favorite course you've ever played, like all time?
Man, some of the courses. I went to Finland a couple of years ago, and the courses there are insane. I don't know. I mean, Milo's definitely up there. I also love Blue Lake. I think Blue Lake is an incredibly underrated course. I think it got sort of a bad rap because like when Worlds happened there, it was in pretty rough shape, and I think a lot of people sort of judged it, based on like where it was at then, and have never sort of reconsidered. And it's an amazing course because it's a thinking man's course. I mean, like you could shred that course. You throw like 8 down at Blue Lake and only be able to throw 350 feet. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not a course that requires like having a huge arm. Obviously having a huge arm out there helps a ton, but there's also like 10,000 feet of OB. So it's like, you know what I mean? So, I mean, it's that I love that course for that reason. I don't know. I mean, one of my favorite courses actually of all time is North Calais in Vermont.
Okay.
And the Smugglers courses are insane.
Vermont's a fun place. I just like Vermont and Portland, kind of like the Northeast and the Pacific Northwest, just kind of similar vibes to me. It's very like craft beer, outdoor sports. Let's have a good time.
For sure. Yeah, for sure.
There's also a lot of good whitewater rafting in both of those places too.
All right. Good to know.
This is nice.
Yeah, for sure. I'm not much into the whitewater, but yeah, it's definitely there.
So, all right. So if you could play a round with a celebrity as your dubs partner, who would be your famous celebrity?
Oof.
Non-disc golfer.
Maybe Tim Ferriss.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
Yeah.
All right. I'm sorry. We're getting close to the hour, so we're going to hit you kind of rapid fire. But which pound sponsored player is the most likely to need work done on their bag on a regular basis?
God, they're all kind of gentle with their stuff, to be
they are?
honest. Maybe Christian Dietrich.
Yeah.
You probably no one. A lot of people don't know who he is. He actually beat Nico Lacastro and won the BSF. Like I think it was the same year. It was like 2009. It was like the same year that Nico won USDGC. I'm pretty sure. He's out of Montana. He's like Montana's best golfer. Super legit. He never toured. He's a lawyer by trade, so he never really went on tour. But
oh, nice.
He's a Montana boy.
You can't really give up that. That's not a balance.
Beat a pack up. Yeah.
Oh, that's sad.
That's funny. So this is a Atlanta-based question.
That's us. Yeah.
Because that's us. Have you ever eaten at Waffle House?
Have I ever seen what?
Have you ever eaten at a Waffle House?
I haven't.
Okay, never mind. Is there like a really like a crappy diner or something out there in Portland, or like a Huddle House sort of thing out there that you guys have?
Maybe, but I mean, Portland here is like, the food here is insane and it's cheap too. I mean, that's the awesome thing about Portland, is that like you can get an amazing meal for like $15. You know what I mean?
What are some
if I was gonna go like, what's that?
Do you have any go-to? What are your go-to spots in Portland?
Modern Times is definitely one of my go-to spots. Their food is incredible, and the beer is fantastic. Wayfinder is another. They've also got amazing food and amazing beer. They're mostly German style beers. Lots of lagers and Kolsch's and pilsners and stuff like that. Hat Yai is an amazing northern Thai street food place that's pretty close to our house that we go to quite a bit. And then Screen Door. It's funny because Screen Door is one of those super hyped restaurants that people are like, whatever, people that have lived here for 5 years have never been because they think it's just, it's all hype, but it's amazing. Best fried chicken I've ever had. And awesome, just sort of Southern menu.
Wow, that's awesome. That sounds delicious.
You'll find me there. I'm looking for that fried chicken like Chris Dickerson. We had a viewer ask, what's your 3-disc bag if you're trying to be competitive?
Well, I putt and I throw PA3s off the tee. So it'd have to be a PA3 and then probably
There we go.
a Firebird and a Leopard 3.
I love that answer. That's my favorite answer I've ever done. All right, Levi, thanks for coming on. I know we're right at the hour. We've had some technical difficulties. I appreciate you being a good sport, man. I'm going to give you I've got to ask one more question. My bad.
Sure.
See, with the technical difficulties, the script is getting a little jostled here. But we always ask everybody, do you have any questions or advice for us?
Definitely don't have any advice for you.
Okay.
Damn it.
No, I don't know, man. I guess I'd say you guys are probably doing something that you love to do, and you can never go wrong doing something that you love to do. It's you can't fake having passion for something. You know what I mean? It comes out in everything you do, and I think that's obvious with you guys too. So, and don't take yourselves too seriously. Obviously, the name of your show, which I love, because
that's a barrier to entry. That was
people still call it false.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That was
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
we're gonna trim the squares off before they even get near us. That was the whole plan.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, awesome. Man, we are gonna give you the big screen, let you tell people how to follow you, how to support you, how to keep an eye on stuff. Thanks for coming on, and can we have you back on sometime, talk some more?
Yeah, man, by all means. It was great. Thanks for having me.
All right. Well, the floor is yours, my man.
Just the typical things. You can follow us on Facebook or Pound Disc Golf on Instagram. If you're hardcore, we've got actually a closed Facebook group that some other people started that I pop in from time to time. The Pound Disc Golf group on Facebook. We make most of our announcements through social media, and if you ever have any questions, feel free to email us, and we try to get back to people within 24 hours. And if you want to talk to a real human, just email us your phone number, and we'd love to call and chat with you if you want to chat with a real person. So
awesome, man. Thank you so much, Levi. Good luck in the future, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks so much, guys. Take care.
Thanks, Levi. Dude, so awesome. I'm so happy. American made. Like you said, I love that at the end. If you don't want to talk to a robot, just leave us your number. We will call you. And
he's not kidding. He and I had spoken a couple of times throughout the day about the technical aspects of coming on the show. And he was like, just call me and we'll talk about it. And right before we got on, I called up. He said, hey, do you need to test? I'm like, no, I think we're good. Yada, yada. So it was perfect. Austin just dipped out because he was having trouble getting through. If you're in the chat, can you guys hear Cody? I think it might just be a Cody to Levi thing that was going on, but
I think it might be a server issue between the East Coast and the West Coast.
Yeah, somewhere in the middle of the country.
There was a delay. There was a hard delay.
Yeah.
But it was a great episode. I had so much fun.
Dude, that was fun. I wanted to ask some more questions. We're going to get to them next time. I think that's about it, right? Tonight we're good.
Yeah.
Let me just give everyone a plug real quick one more time, Cody, if you don't mind, because I think I rushed it in the beginning. Guys, once again, Frolfer Fridays at Ferguson Park starts next Friday the 19th. we're going kind of big. So $2 to play minimum, that pays for the league and everything else like that. But you got a free CTP already, hole 14, every week of the 6 weeks. You can win one of these hats, a pair of these sunglasses, and $20 every week for 6 weeks. And then the first night, obviously, we're going to have the hat release party for the new hats that we haven't exactly shown you yet. But next week on Frolfcenter, you're going to see them. So, man, that's a lot of talking. I'm going to let Cody take it out of here. I'm Adam. Thanks, guys. See you later.
Just trying out my new shades that they're giving away at that sweet event. Thank you guys so much. Huge thanks to Levi. Go check out Pound Bags. They're amazing. They're American made. They have the best warranty ever. You just tell them what's wrong. Send you everything new. I'm Cody. Thanks for watching. Y'all have an amazing night.